Alright, chapter 4, section 2, we're going to be doing operations with polynomials. We're going to be adding, subtracting them, multiplying, and dividing. So first, adding and subtracting polynomials. In order to add or subtract polynomials, you add or subtract the coefficients of like terms. We can only combine like terms. So if we had 2x cubed plus 4x squared plus 5x cubed, we can only combine the cube terms together, and we do that by adding the coefficients together. So we always got to look at what sign's out in front. That'll tell us if we're adding or subtracting. So here we have 2 plus 5. This is 7x cubed. We cannot combine the 4x squared, so we would just leave it as plus 4x squared. And then we always write it in standard form, so we start with our highest degree and then just go descending. So 3 and then 2. So we have an example for part A. Add 3x cubed plus 2x squared minus x minus 7 and x cubed minus 10x squared plus 8. So we can only combine our like terms. So we have an x cubed here and an x cubed here. So 3x cubed, if it doesn't have a number, remember it's implied that it's a 1, so 3 plus 1 would be 4x cubed. Next we can move on to our squared. So we have 2x squared and negative 10x squared. So 2 minus 10 would be negative 8x squared. Next we have negative x. We don't have another x in our second, so this would just be minus x. And then lastly we have negative 7 plus 8, so this would be plus 1. So this is adding in vertical format. Actually, this is horizontal when you just add them together like this. Vertical format would be putting them one on top of the other. So for B, we'll do this one in vertical. So we have 9y cubed plus 3y squared minus 2y plus 1. And then we want to make sure we line up our terms with the like terms. So we have negative 5y squared plus y minus 4. And then we just add the two together. So here we have 1 minus 4, so this is negative 3. Negative 2y plus y is negative y. 3y squared minus 5y squared would be negative 2y squared. And then 9y cubed, we don't have anything to add with that, so it's just 9y cubed. So our answer would be this. So vertical format is just putting our two equations on top of each other, making sure our terms are lined up, and then just adding the two together. Same way as adding it horizontally and just combining our like terms. Next, we are finding the sum or difference. So for number 1, we're adding the two together. When we're adding our two polynomials, we can ignore the parentheses. So we just act as if the parentheses aren't there. We have 2x squared and 7x squared, so this is 9x squared. Negative 6x, negative x becomes negative 7x. And then plus 5 minus 9, this would be negative 4. So 9x squared minus 7x minus 4 would be our answer for number 1. Number 2, we're subtracting. The big thing when subtracting here, we have to distribute this negative sign to every single thing in the parentheses behind it. So this is now, I'll rewrite it again, 3 t cubed plus 8t squared minus t minus 4 minus 5t cubed. Negative times a negative becomes positive. T squared, negative times positive 17 is minus 17. Now we combine our like terms. So we have 3t cubed minus 5t cubed is negative 2t cubed. 8t squared plus t squared would be plus 9t squared minus t. We only have that one t, so just minus t. And then minus 4 minus 17 would be minus 21. So this is our answer for number 1 and our answer for number 2. So super important. We just combine our like terms, and then anytime we're subtracting, we have to distribute. Next, we are multiplying our polynomials. So when multiplying, we have to make sure that each term in our first set of polynomials gets multiplied to each term in our second set of polynomials. So we've done multiplying polynomials before, where we had like x plus 2, x minus 1. So these are two binomials. And when you have two binomials, you know you have to FOIL. So every single term in our first polynomial gets multiplied to every single term in our second polynomial. So everything gets multiplied to each other. So looking at A, we're multiplying negative x squared plus 2x plus 4 times x minus 3. So we are FOILing. But here, instead of 4 terms, we have 5, because we have 3 in our first one and 2 in our second. So we're going to start with our first term. So we have negative x squared. We need to multiply it to x. So this is negative x cubed, because now we have 3 x's that we're multiplying, so it becomes x cubed. Then negative x squared times negative 3. So this would be positive 3x squared. Now we move on to our second term here. Negative, oh, that's a plus. So plus 2x. Plus 2x, we have to multiply it to both things in our second polynomial. So 2x times x would be plus 2x squared. 2x times negative 3 would be minus 6x. And then next we can move on to our third term here, 4. So we have to multiply 4 times x and times negative 3. So 4 times x is 4x, and 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. Now we're not done after we multiply. We have to combine all of our like terms by adding and subtracting just how we did before. So we only have one x cubed, so this is negative x cubed. We combine our x squareds here. So this is plus 5x squared. So remember, you're just adding the coefficients together. Now we move on to our x's. We have a negative 6 and a plus 4x. So this is minus 2x and then minus 12. So this is our answer for A. Next, we're multiplying y plus 5 times 3y squared minus 2y plus 2. So everything in our first set has to get multiplied to everything in our second. So let's start with y. So we have y times 3y squared. I'll show a little example on the side here. So y times 3y squared. Y squared is y times y. So we have y times y times y. So we have 3y. So this is 3y cubed. So just a little example of how we get the y cubed out of it. Next we have y times negative 2y. So this is negative 2y squared. and y times 2 would be plus 2y. Now we move on to the 5. So we have 5 times 3y squared, which would be plus 15y squared. 5 times negative 2y is negative 10y, and 5 times 2 is positive 10. Now we combine our like terms. We only have 1 cubed, so 3y cubed. Next we combine our y squareds. So this is negative 2y, negative 2y squared plus 15y. This becomes a plus 13y squared plus 2y minus 10y would be negative 8y, and then plus 10. So we just combine our like terms together and got our final answer. Alright, let's go to the next one. So here we have 3 polynomials that we're multiplying together. We're multiplying x plus 1, x minus 1, x plus 4, and x plus 5. So I always like to take it one step at a time. So we're going to multiply these two together first, and whatever we get as our answer for that, then we're going to multiply it by this x plus 5. So here for our first two binomials, we're foiling. So we multiply our first terms, our last term, our outsides, so plus 4x, our insides, minus x, and then our last terms, minus 4. So now we have this trinomial times x plus 5. So we have to make sure everything in our first polynomial gets multiplied to everything in our second. So x squared times x is x cubed. X squared times 5 would be 5x squared. Now we move on to our second. So we have 4x times x is 4x squared. 4x times 5 is 20x. Next we have negative x. So negative x times x would be negative x squared. Negative x times negative 5 would be negative x times positive 5 would be negative 5. And then we move on to negative 4, so negative 4x minus 20. I realized in the middle of doing this, I could have combined these two terms together because they're like terms, so it could have been 3x, but we'll end up getting the same answer. Just the way I did it was a little bit longer because it took us 2 extra steps. Now we can combine our like terms. So we have x cubed, and we look at all of our x squareds. So 5x squared plus 4x would be 9x squared, minus 1 would be 8x squared, so plus 8x squared. Now we look at all of our x's, so we have plus 20x minus 4, 20 minus 4 is 16, so plus 16x. And then all of our numbers, so negative 5 minus 20 would be negative 25. Oops, this is our answer here. Alright, these last 4 are just extra practice. I'm going to do 3 and 6 because number 5 is just like the one we did before, and 4 is super similar to 3. So let's take a look at number 3. So I want to start with my 4x squared. I need to multiply that times 2x and times 1. So 4x squared times 2x, 4 times 2 is 8, and then 2x's plus 1x would be x cubed. Next, multiply 4x squared times 1, so this is just plus 4x squared. we move on to the x now. So x times 2x would be plus 2x squared. X times 1 would be plus x. Lastly, we have this negative 5. Negative 5 times 2x is negative 10x. Negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. Now we combine our like terms. 8x cubed plus 6x squared minus 9x minus 5. So this one was number 3. Alright, now for number 6. So here we have two binomials. Two binomials we just FOIL. So we multiply our first terms. So this is 9t squared, because there's 2 of the t's. 3t times 2 would be plus 6t. Negative 2 times 3t would be negative 6t. And negative 2 times positive 2 would be negative 4. So now we combine our like terms. This positive 6t and the negative 6t cancel out. They just become 0. So we have 9t squared minus 4. So this was part 1 of 4.2. Make sure you turn in the notes by the end of class. And I'm going to have the homework for 4.2 as like one homework, so you'll have part 1 and part 2 together, and it'll both be due Friday morning. So just make sure if you have time in class, get it started today so you have less to do, but it'll be due on Friday morning. So, but the notes are due at the end of the class period, so make sure you get those turned in today.